How's it going, everybody? I am Donuts.
And I'm Thermites.
And we are reacting to South Park. I have seen all of South Park up until like season 20-something.
I am completely blind.
Yes. I don't know why I'm like letting you do the whole
This
thing.
is the first time we've ever done that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna start doing it now.
Oh boy.
We're saying every episode. This episode is Pinkeye.
Oh no.
This episode is also the first of the episodes after their original 6-episode run they were given by Comedy Central. So after the 6 episodes, Comedy Central was like, all right, fine, we'll sign you on for a full season.
Mm-hmm.
I want your opinion. After those 6 episodes, if it was 1997, would you give them another season?
Okay.
Or not another season. Would you give them, if you were Comedy Central, after seeing those 6 episodes, would you highlight another season? Not based off of the success of the show at all.
Mm-hmm. Like, just based off of those episodes, I think I would. It is still a very unique series. Like, even in an era of, adult cartoons trying to copycat South Park to some extent, it still has a very distinct style and feel to it that I imagine even then must have been super mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And, while I feel like I was 50-50 on the season overall, I do think, it had a lot of promise. The good episodes were really, really good. So I would definitely have been I'd like to see what else you could do.
Now, if this came out today, if right now, current year, someone came to you with these 6 episodes, would you give it a season?
No.
Okay.
It's very Newgrounds. And
it is.
I do say that knowing that Newgrounds is most certainly inspired by South Park rather than being the other way around.
Almost certainly, yeah.
It definitely feels like something I would watch for free on the internet by, some 12-year-olds.
Yeah. I'll get into it more when we actually get to the Spirit of Christmas and Jesus versus Frosty, which are the 2 shorts they did before South Park.
Okay.
I'm not sure when we'll watch those. We'll watch them at some point, but I'm not, it's non-canon, it's before South Park, so we'll do it whenever we have the time.
Okay.
But yeah, in the Spirit of Christmas, that one was George Clooney himself sent it to 300 friends.
Jeez,
made 300 copies to send to friends. I don't know if he sent it to 300 friends or not, but he made 300 copies to send to friends. And it is considered, that and Dancing Baby are considered to be the first 2 viral videos.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. The Spirit of Christmas, they made one, and then someone paid them $1,000-something to make a second one just for a Christmas card for his friends, and then that became the viral video that everything spread around and everything.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it is super super duper old. It's even older than Dancing Baby, I'm pretty sure. So
God.
Anyway, do I have any? A little bit of corrections first.
Sure.
I said in a previous episode that they were in 4th grade, but they're in 3rd grade, not 4th grade.
Okay.
I can't believe I said 4th grade. I said in one part that the female voice actor that does almost all the characters, there's 2 names on screen. I couldn't remember which one it was. I was like, okay, I actually don't remember which of these it was. That's because it's both the exact same person.
Wait, what?
Yeah. She originally was going as Shannon Cassidy in the first couple episodes because she was an actual actress and she didn't want... she was like, this is some weird thing that I'm just doing because I want to, so I don't really want my name to be attached to it. But no one really realized how big South Park was going to be, so almost immediately they started transitioning and just putting both names in the credits and then phasing out Shannon Cassidy.
Oh, okay.
So her real name is Mary Kay Bergman.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so that's why I was confused. I was like, okay, because I kind of recognized both names, so I was like, I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, so Mary Kay Bergman is her real name, and she voices pretty much all of the female characters.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's watch this episode.
Oh boy. I assume this is the return of Scott Baio.
Oh right, we did Pinkeye in the first episode.
We did.
I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down to South Park, gonna leave.
You really went all in with it.
Ever parking donuts, people starting howdy neighbor.
Heading on up South Park, gonna see if I can't unwind. So come on down to South Park and meet some friends of mine.
This is episode 7.
already getting the Halloween episode.
Already getting a new opening.
Yeah.
Bodit but stad.
I can't tell if this is actually Russian or not.
Stur.
I assume not.
No, it's not real Russian.
Ah.
Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You bastards! What the hell is that thing?
So
it looks like a
fast.
UFO! There's no such thing as UFOs!
Let's get him to the morgue.
Jeez. Hey, no rats.
No rats this time, it's true.
What?
Then the necrophiliac says, if this
No, I
ain't
don't
the
understand.
Hey!
Ah! Goddamn, that
Why?
Me too.
They don't even care.
Everyone is so nonchalant in South Park.
It's just every day.
Wendy's going as Raggedy Ann, and she said this way we'd win the costume contest for sure. First prize is 2 tons of candy. Wow, cool. Hey, dudes.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's off Hitler costume.
It's only episode 7.
My mom made it. Isn't it cool? No, it's not cool. What are you? You forgot to wear a costume, Kenny. Now, what's the matter? Couldn't your family afford a costume for you? Yeah. Why is your family so poor, Kenny? Kenny's family is so poor that yesterday they had to put their cardboard box up for a second mortgage. I said your family had to put a cardboard box up for a second mortgage. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Kenny.
You know, you've never seen his family.
Poor piece of crap.
Yeah, I'm afraid the two of you have pink eye. I'd give you topical medicine, but I don't want to touch you.
Oh, I'm so hungry and all I can think about eating is brains.
Yeah, well, for God's sake, don't touch your eyes. I'll prescribe some antibiotics.
Just wait till everyone sees my sweet Chewbacca costume. They're gonna be so jealous. Whoa, dude. Everyone came as Chewbacca?
It sure does seem to be a popular costume this year, Kyle.
I guess I just realized how stupid we would look.
You what?
I thought we would reach the same conclusion, so I came as Chewbacca.
Hey, Stan. You look almost pretty enough to kiss.
Yeah, you want to be my girlfriend?
All of a sudden, my costume is pretty badass, huh? Dude, dressing up like Hitler is not badass. You're just jealous. Why don't you go back to Endor, you stupid Wookiee? Wookiees don't live on Endor. Well, at least my mom's not on the cover of Crack Horror magazine. What? What did you say?
Oh, I'm gonna decorate the house for Halloween with scary ghosts and bats and creepy crawly things. Hello there. Happy Halloween.
Must eat brains.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Hey, Kenny, are you gonna eat your pudding? Yeah, Eric. Take my pudding if you like.
Hello, children.
Oh boy.
What in the hell are you doing dressed up like that?
Eating Kenny's pudding?
Hello there, children. Oh, love the Elvis costume, Chef.
Elvis? I'm Evel Knievel. Why the hell would I dress up like Elvis?
Eric, God bless it. What do you think you're doing?
Hey, he said I could have his pudding. Ask him yourself. Yig hired! Yig hired!
God bless America. You get into my office before anyone else sees you.
Who
I
is
have
this
to show
character?
you an educational video.
Yeah, I don't want to see an educational video. Ow! You bit my arm. Oh, good. Kenny's back to normal.
Watch the video, Eric.
Adolf Hitler was a very, very naughty man.
Was lieben einer Menschen werden Bruder. Dr. Skyler, einer Menschen will was ermorden.
Eating is forbidden. And you discover it.
So remember, kids, dressing up like Hitler in school.
Why do they have this tape?
Now, well, how about we make your new costume? Thought of something.
Oh,
How
no.
about we make
I know
you a
this
nice
is going.
scary ghost costume?
I don't want to be a stupid
Oh,
scary
no.
ghost.
There you go, young man.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, looks like they got a touch of that pink eye that's going around.
Why does no one notice the brains?
Hello, children.
Hey, Chef.
Wait, is he entering?
Wow, Chef's really scared of ghosts, huh? Hey, where's Kyle? Check this out. What is that? I'm the whole solar system.
The second place award for best costume goes to Kenny for his Edward James Olmos costume.
No idea. No
Best
idea.
costume goes to Wendy for her Chewbacca costume.
What? But she looks just like everybody else. Up yours, teeny others.
And the award for worst costume this year goes to Stan for his stupid little clown thing costume. Let's all point at Stan and laugh, children. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Wendy. You ruined my Halloween.
Relax, Stan. You'll feel better once we're out trick-or-treating.
Pinkeye. Get the hell out of here, Johnson. I don't want no goddamn Pinkeye.
And the president responded to the incident by the town of South Park.
What is this chair?
Right, that's his voice actor on the wall.
Really? Okay.
People here in South Park have been infected with the Pinkeye virus.
What? The news reporter. Chair is amazing.
Chef is an enigma.
Too bad drinking scotch isn't a paying job, or else Kenny's dad would be a millionaire. I say your dad would be a millionaire, get it? Kenny! If family's park, Kenny! If family's park! Anymore. He just doesn't communicate.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Wendy. How's your barrel full of candy, Wendy?
Oh, I didn't want all that sweet stuff. I gave it away to hungry children in Nairobi.
Ew, what? Are you insane?
Chef, I think maybe the pink eye has made you a little delirious. Let me give you some topical cream.
Damn it. Don't you see? These people have been zombified. They got no heartbeat, no feeling. I'll show you.
Mr. Torres was here for a routine checkup, Chef.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
But my point is, that topical cream ain't gonna fix what's wrong here.
Hey, now, there have been a lot of incredible advances in topical creams over the last few years.
Why, Chef?
You're probably wondering why we're standing here with a pile of money and no pants on.
Actually,
Well, I can assure you that it has absolutely nothing to do with the Japanese mafia.
Not a thingy-dingy.
I don't really give a crap. We've got to do something about the living dead.
Damn it! We'll never get any candy if Kenny keeps eating people. Yeah.
Why is no one stepping in?
Anymore. Trick or treat. Hey, they're all dressed up like those too. One tootie bar, you cheap bastards.
Why does everyone have super strength?
Get off my property, you brain-eating zombie bastard! Remind me to whoop your ass good next time I see you. Now get in here before those zombies get you.
Remember the candy. Focus on the candy. What are we doing here, Chef?
What was that
Just look for
line?
anything suspicious.
Your mom is on the cover.
Jesus.
We told you, dude.
You better let me take that, Kyle.
Hey, Chef. Look. Chef? Chef!
Oh no. Oh no.
Even when I'm dead, my body might get cold, but it's always hot in my bed. Make love.
We already had a musical number.
Don't be afraid.
Need another
Just
one.
because my heart ain't beating, it don't mean you won't get laid.
Let's get out of here.
Oh!
Okay. Why?
For Worcestershire sauce recipes, please press 1 followed by the pound sign. For Worcestershire sauce product placement, please press 2. If Worcestershire sauce has been used as embalming, please press...
Nobody screws up my trick or treat and gets away with it. Yeah, key. Sweet.
It's an evergreen bets.
Wendy? Remember how she did the costume contest? Hey, yeah.
Oh boy.
A regular sauce, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you do not just go out and start decapitating zombies left and right. Do you understand? Do not start decapitating zombies left and right.
Okay. Then what?
All you have to do is kill the original zombie, the one that started the whole mess. Once you kill the original zombie, all the other zombies will turn back to normal.
Original zombie? Well, how the hell do we know who the original zombie is?
We realize you have a choice in Worcestershire sauces. We are delighted that...
Wait a minute. That thing landed on Kenny.
Jesus.
Oh my god! I killed Kenny! You bastard!
Why?
What happened?
Is it a compulsion?
Yes.
Don't worry, babe.
You
Everything's
must.
gonna be okay. It's working. They're turning back to normal.
You did it, children.
Okay, let's go trick or treat now. Come on.
I'm sorry I dissed you at school like that, Stan. Maybe we could actually kiss tonight, Stan.
Oh.
Ew! Gross, Stan! Sick! Life is gross!
Thanks, Wendy.
With all the dead bodies around.
Man, I can't believe he's gone. Yeah, he was too young to be taken from us. Dude, you're the one who cut him in half with a chainsaw. Let us remember the good times. You know, I've really learned something today. Halloween isn't about costumes or candy. It's about being good to one another and giving and loving. No, dude, that's Christmas. Oh, then what's Halloween about? Costumes and candy. Oh. Well, let's get home, start eating that candy. We can eat it at Cartman's house and see more naughty pictures of his mom. Yeah. Now get off, you guys. She said she was young and needed the money.
Why?
Well, that's how we end it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, God. Okay.
What an episode.
That was Pinkeye.
Yeah.
Give it a rating. But I do think, we did the first 6 episodes. Do you think we should start now doing it out of 10? I think doing it out of 10 makes more sense than doing it out of 5. There's a lot more wiggle room.
Yeah. I think it's fair.
Alright, so yeah, out of 10.
Out of 10, I would give it a 9.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I would give this one a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. It was above average, but even as far as the past episodes we watched, I would not give it a 9 out of 10 or anything now. I'm surprised you drank it that highly. What about this episode did you love so much?
Honestly, the efforts. Like, the animation was super interesting. I mean, first of all, we had the new opening.
Yeah.
We had, like, anytime the zombies, like, smashed through something, it was actually very well animated.
True.
Like, the lifting houses and stuff, obviously very crude for effects.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a lot of particle effects, for lack of a better word.
I will say, starting with this episode and moving forward, they started to get more of an actual production crew, and they were starting to animate it less themselves and have animators doing it.
Yeah, like, it felt more like a cartoon and less like a Newgrounds thing.
Yeah. It actually is starting to feel more legit now.
Yeah. And then just, like, for a Halloween episode, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I, am not a fan of holiday episodes for really anything in general. Any kind of comedy series, especially when it's episodic, and they do the holiday episodes, they tend to not be ones that I enjoy. I'm always like, oh, it's going to be a holiday episode. And I was even like, oh, man, I'm not looking forward to the holiday episodes we're going to watch again through South Park. But yeah, this is actually really surprising how much I did enjoy it. Like, I was expecting to like it a lot less. I thought I was going to give it like a 5 out of 10, like just basic.
Yeah, same.
But I ended up liking this episode a lot more than I thought I would. I honestly just love the segment where they just go around killing people with chainsaws. It's so, like, that's what I want from a Halloween special. Just unabashed, like, we're just gonna go around and kill people with chainsaws.
Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't retcon it or anything. Like, it wasn't, just a dream or one of those situations. Like, no, they did actually just murder all those people.
They did talk about, they didn't know how they should end this episode, and they ultimately came up with, like, well, I guess just kill the main zombie and then everybody else is fine. But yeah, they weren't really sure how to do this and still have South Park be, go back to the quote-unquote status quo that it always does. I would say it goes back to the status quo in the same way that, like, Rick and Morty goes back to the status quo.
Right.
It goes back to a semblance of a status quo.
Okay.
But yeah, so Did the ending feel forced to you at all? Like, did the, it just kill the main zombie and that brings everybody back? Did that feel forced to you, or did you, accept that as an ending?
I accepted it pretty well. Like, the absurdity of the Worcestershire sauce hotline in general is just a really, really good gag. And I really enjoyed the fact that she was, the operator was extremely calm about it. She was like, oh yeah, you just have to kill the main zombie. Because from her initial description, I thought she was going to go into the other gag of, they're not really zombies. They just have green skin or whatever, so, you're just killing normal people.
It's just Pinkeye.
Like, they're just hungry. So it really took me for a loop when they were like, oh, no, actually, they are zombies. And in order to cure them, you kill the main zombie.
This happens many times.
There's no explanation for why Worcestershire sauce does this.
Originally, it actually was going to be Diet Dr. Pepper, but Dr. Pepper would not allow them. Worcester did.
Is Worcestershire sauce, trademarked?
I don't know.
I actually don't know.
I have no idea, actually. But I assume so.
I didn't think
I always
so.
thought that was like a trademarked term that just became a thing that people called it,
Huh,
like people just call steak sauce, or people call, steak sauce A1 a lot of times in America.
Okay.
I thought it was something like that. But yeah, just, wait, what was I gonna say? Wait, I haven't noticed this is the first cold open, but did we? Maybe when it originally aired or something, but Artfile doesn't have a cold open, correct?
Yeah, I thought it went right to the opening.
Same, but I wrote down that note. Let's go all the way to the beginning. Yeah, it starts right with the thing. Oh, I guess so it originally started with this, then probably went into the opening.
Okay.
Huh, I wonder why they changed it for the DVD release. But, okay, so when this came out, at least, it had a cold open, which was the first time they did that. What, in this episode, do you think Comedy Central was the most worried about showing?
I'm going to say Cartman is Adolf Hitler.
Nope, it was the Chewbacca mask. Yeah, they were so worried they were going to get sued over it.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
So they had to send the episode to George Lucas's, or Lucasfilms or whatever, and get them to, view it first and sign off on it. But yeah, that was the thing I was worried about. The Cartman thing, both the Ku Klux Klan costume and Hitler costume, they were like, okay, but the Chewbacca costume, we're not so sure if we're going to let you do that.
I mean, I guess it makes sense in hindsight.
It does. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, boy, there's, okay, before I get into, just talking about, with this, there was a bit of a break between, last episode and this episode coming out. I'm not sure if I wrote down how long it was, but, there was a break anyway. But so before I get into all that, Tina Yellers she's a singer in a band and everything like that, and she actually does use the clip of Kyle saying, "Up yours, Tina Yellers," as an intro to their shows.
Really?
Yeah. Also a fan of her appearance on the show. So yeah, the first couple episodes, particularly this episode more than any of the others, they were forced to produce it really, really quickly.
Okay.
Which I was going to ask, was that noticeable to you? But it seems like it was not noticeable at all to you.
Honestly, no. It felt like they took way longer on this one than any of the others.
Yeah. They said this one was, really, really rushed. They were really worried about how people were, they were disappointed with it. They were worried they were going to get a lot of negative feedback with the Cartman stuff and just for the ending in general. But it received very positive feedback.
Yeah, because, I guess I can see the plot being a bit rushed. There wasn't really a B-plot or anything.
Yeah, that's true. It was, I didn't think about that. But yeah, there was no B-plot. I guess the B-plot was Chef, but...
Yeah, but it was such a light part of the B-plots.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all zombie-focused, really, I guess. I guess the zombies were the B-plots.
What would be the A-plot, then? Just the trick-or-treating? And the costumes and everything?
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Yeah, the zombies are the B-plot. Well, it is still A-plot, B-plot, even though it's very intricately tied together just by nature of being a holiday episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are usually tied together a lot clearer.
Right.
A lot tighter. But yeah, so they wanted to show this episode was that, Halloween was a positive holiday for children because this is, around the time of the Satanic Panic and stuff like that. Did you guys have much of a, How big was the Satanic Panic in Canada, and did it affect stuff like Halloween?
Non-existence.
Okay.
We did have the general fear about people like putting like razor blades in candy, but it wasn't like satanic focused.
Okay. Yeah, because I always think of that as being a very American thing. The whole Satanic Panic, the Bible Belt, and all that stuff. It's, very, very American thing for this episode to be like, hey guys, Halloween is positive. Which is like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
It's a very easy message to get behind. It's probably the least polarizing episode of South Park ever.
I feel like, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, so they did say, with this episode, and I quote, we were pretty bummed out, and we kind of thought, well, we're gonna have a bad episode go on the air. So they did say before this aired, this one is gonna be a bad one.
I mean, of all the series I've seen that subscribe to that mindset of we're gonna have a bad one,
okay,
I'm not surprised that wouldn't be South Park.
Yeah, we were very into this idea based off of the teachers' lounges. I guess where it first started coming up.
Yeah.
Of the bad one of knowingly releasing a bad piece of content and acknowledging it beforehand as heads up, this one's a bad one.
Yeah.
We're very into that idea. But yeah, from this point on, really, you really like this episode too, which again, I thought was going to be very different, but I would say from this point on, the critics just start really eating up everything. No matter what they do, the critics are just like, oh yeah, give me that, give me that, give me that. I'll take whatever you serve me. It's just it was so pushing the boundaries, and they kept pushing the boundaries that people were just eating it up in every single episode. No matter, they kept saying oh yeah, this one might not be that great, and then everybody's like, love it, great episode, fantastic, 10 out of 10, best one yet. Oh yeah, so Trey said, Pinkeye is such a huge part of your life when you're in 3rd grade. Pinkeye is the thing every 3rd grader gets, and it's just such a bizarre thing. Do you agree?
No?
Neither would I. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
It's a very regional thing.
I have no idea what that means. I have not gotten Pinkeye in my life ever. I don't think I've ever known anybody while they had Pinkeye.
Yeah, same. I never had this either, but I feel like in this area, the thing that everyone gets is lice. In the sense that you always hear about people getting lice, and at school they always do they would always do lice checks once a season or so.
I think that was more of a thing for sleepaway camps and stuff.
Okay.
In America, because you'd be out in the wilderness and stuff. I guess it's more lice, but also just ticks and fleas and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, they both said that this episode they felt started to solidify a lot of the characters in their just in what their characters were in the show.
Okay.
Did you feel that way with any of the characters? Did you feel like anything felt more, I guess, more solidifying more than any other episode?
Not really.
Because I can with certain things, but I don't really want to point them out specifically if you.
Okay. Because I did feel in the previous episodes that we had the first big, Stan moment where he did a speech, and that was okay, I get Stan now. And Kyle's episode, I guess, was the first time we saw his mom.
Yeah.
And I guess Cartman's felt kind of the same forever.
Yeah. I think a big reason why they said that was not exactly what happened in this episode, but just the fact that they didn't really get much backlash at all for the Cartman stuff in this episode.
Okay.
And so they were this episode, they felt like people really started to understand Cartman as a character, and the stuff they would get offended at in the show tended to not be anything from Cartman, because people, even Bible bumping parents, realized that was a parody, or were more accepting of a parody because it was so outlandish and because he's never in the right a lot of times.
Right.
He's almost always getting the shit into the stick.
Yeah.
But But yeah, just Eric's mom being on the cover of Crackle magazine, like, you know, she's has had, like, you know, some sexual jokes, but it's much different from saying a sexual joke here and there to being on the cover of Crackle magazine.
That is a massive jump.
Yeah. They really hammer in the fact that Kenny was poor this episode. Which is, like, brought up, like, once or twice before, but not
I didn't
really.
remember that at all.
I don't know if it's brought up or more just, like, apparent of, like, you know, all 3 kids will be carrying something and he'll be carrying a worse version of it.
Right.
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they ever, like, brought it up. But, yeah. The idea that, like, Chef is, like, the only one in town who really knows what's going on.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
A lot of these elements have been present from the beginning, but they really started to solidify. It's like, okay, this is the character, you know. This episode is really showing, like, you know, Chef is the only adult here who has any idea what the hell's going on. Or is the only one who, you know, I don't even want to say is the only one who believes the kids, because it's not even that. He's figured it out on his own.
Right.
He's just, like, the only one who actually is on top of shit.
Yeah, he's the one sane man.
Yeah. And he's the one black man basically in the entire town. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Oh, no.
Oh.
Crap, I forgot. We got to talk about the ratings and everything.
Oh, boy.
Well, I don't want to get too into the ratings just yet. But, no, Ryan, I do. I forgot what, I've been moving around my notes a bit, so I forgot what I did.
Okay.
But before this episode aired on TV, it aired on the New York Comedy Film Festival, and out of 50 films, it was chosen to close. Just this episode. I don't know why it was at a film festival, but out of 50 films, this episode closed. Sure.
I'm surprised it's also the episode that they rushed, the one that they didn't have faith in. That's real weird.
It was just like to promote the show coming back, I guess.
Okay.
Also to do that, Matt and Trey at this time both went on the Daily Show to promote the show.
Oh.
Like the first time they had gone, like, the show was extremely heavily promoted before the first episode even came out. I think they made like $30 million in sales before the show, the first episode even aired.
Wow.
Or maybe 30,000. I don't remember.
30,000 feels a little more sane.
I don't remember. It is a crazy amount. Just in T-shirt sales alone, they made before the show came out, because it's very heavily promoted, and it was the show based off this viral, you know, video that most people had seen, which I wouldn't say that the average household had seen, but, you know, it built some hype around it. People knew some people knew who these people were. Yeah, so prior to South Park, Comedy Central's their highest rating show was 1.24 million households for the second season premiere of Absolutely Fabulous. And that was the highest, not like their average. That was the highest they ever got, was 1.24 million.
Okay.
Anal Probe, the first episode, just got shy of 1 million. And Pinkeye and just the average episode on general from here on out, I mean, they raised a little bit, but just the average episode got around 2.7 or 3 mil.
Wow.
So the average episode got higher than their highest rated show prior.
Jeez.
And by the end of the season, the ratings were up to 6.4 million by season 1.
Wow.
So really, like with just the break in between here, in between this stuff, Comedy Central, and I don't even want to say that, I would say even from Anal Probe, really, a lot of people say so, is that Comedy Central went from just being this channel that, like, you know, nobody gave a shit about. It had literally, like, 2 weeks or something before the first episode of South Park aired, was dropped from a, like, network, or what's that, cable package or whatever. Okay. And yeah, it was just being, like, dropped, nobody really cared about it, and then South Park came on, and it completely transformed it from this nobody company to a industry powerhouse overnight.
Jeez.
It like quickly, immediately after that, got picked up in Canada. Around well, we'll get to it, but a little bit later, they started running like a 3-week long marathon for South Park.
Jeez.
3 weeks long, and. Shit, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like the station that 2 weeks prior dropped South Park got so much like shit of like, why the fuck did you drop this station? What is wrong with you? Why aren't you carrying this? From people who wanted it on to like higher up people who were like, what is wrong with you? Who the fuck made this decision?
Holy crap.
And yeah, it was they immediately got Comedy Central back on the ball. Comedy Central was a subset of another another channel, but I can't remember what it was at this point in time.
Okay.
I'll try and find it later, but anyway, they branched off from that at this point, and because they were making so much money from South Park alone, they had to branch off to make their own sales department. Like, they were still part of the overall parent company, but they had their own separate sales department just for South Park. And, well, not just for South Park, just for Comedy Central, but basically just for South Park. But yeah, it was... It blew up. It was insane. All the
incredible.
episodes from here on are like, you know, they were considered extremely high just for, or I don't want to say extremely high, but unusually high for just any network television at the time.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was a crazy time. That's it for Pinkeye.
Yeah. Wow.
We're going to see you guys for episode 8, Starvin' Marvin.
Hmm.
See you guys for that. Get the fuck out of here.